It's spooky season, and I'm not going to read any spooky books, but here are the books I'm going to be reading in October for my October TBR. And now that it's getting a little bit chillier, it's getting a little bit colder, it's time for me to start reading a little bit more fiction. So we've inverted it. We've gone from 3 non-fiction books and 1 fiction book to 3 fiction books and 1 non-fiction book. What the hell? So let's get into it. As always, the links to these books are going to be in the description down below, if available, from bookshop.org, where you can get books. And when you buy books from bookshop.org, they give a little bit of a kickback to local independent booksellers to get them a little bit more monies, because we all need that right now. So let's get right into it and talk about the 1 fiction book I'm going to be reading in October, unless, sometimes I decide to throw in a couple of the books that I'm reading. So in October, I am going to be reading The White Muggles by William Dalrymple. You know it, we love that white boy here on this channel, William Dalrymple, talking about the White Muggles. So it's talking about British people who, when they went to India, really embraced Mughal culture and kind of, became very pro-India, pro-Mughal court at the very least. So maybe not pro-India, but pro-Mughal, and kind of how they were either ostracized by other British people, how other British people were fascinated by them, how people in the Mughal courts, and especially in places like Delhi, kind of embraced them and brought them into their own, how they married into Indian families. So I think it's going to be very interesting. Some of them reverted, some of them did not. I think it's going to be quite interesting, and we're keeping up that William Dalrymple hype train on this channel. Eventually I'm going to make that Dalrymple video. I just keep adding more and more books of his to my list to read to make that video even bigger than it already is. Maybe that's going to come by the end of the year though. I'm going to try and do that, or it'll be the first video of 2025, who knows? Let me know in the comments down below if you want it sooner or later or more or bigger or smaller. But that is our 1 non-fiction book I'm going to be reading, unless, I change my mind and maybe sneak in another one. Probably a book about Palestine I'll probably try and sneak in as well. But then, let's move on to the fiction books. These are in no particular order. Obviously, we're going to be reading The Tomb of Aturan, the 2nd book in the Earthsea series. So there's my Earthsea book. I've read the first one. Quite good. I'll probably make a video on it. Maybe I'll read all of them and make a video on them again. Again, just there's so many books. So I'm looking forward to that. I quite like the first one. Very quickie kind of review to try to inform why I'm reading the 2nd one. But other than the fact that I already own it, I guess. But really great world building. It didn't feel too big. It obviously foreshadows and tells you about Sparrowhawk and what he's going to be like, but it also, it did feel like that introductory story of a guy who's going to do bigger things, and also the world that they live in. So, I really want to be like, what's next for Sparrowhawk? And, it already tells you that he is going to be the Archmage, he's going to be the GOAT of Earthsea, but where does he go from here? Oh, is it going to be him? Is it going to be someone else? That's kind of why I want to read the next one, The Grin. Ursula, babe, rip. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm going to read the 2nd Earthsea book because it's a banger. The first one was a banger. 2nd one probably going to be a banger. All 6 books, bangers, most likely. The next fiction book is going to be Murtagh, the next book in the Inheritance cycle, following Murtagh. So I remember I'm probably not going to read past the first 4 books. Then I read the mini book, The Fork, the Worm, and something else. And then I was The Witch. And then I was like, you know what? Bet. You have convinced me, Paolini. I'm going to read Murtagh. And then when I made that video ranking the Inheritance Cycle books, which you can find on one of these sites up here, I accidentally said Murtagh wasn't out, but it was out. It's just the audiobook wasn't out, and I was checking if the book was out via Amazon, and for some reason it took me to the audiobook page, and I thought it came out in October. But now that I thought it came out in October, I might as well read it in October. So I'm going to read Murtagh by Christopher Paolini to continue the Inheritance Cycle. And yeah, you know what? I was like, I'm just going to read these to get them out of the way because I own the books. And I was just like, you know what? Actually, let's keep reading. see what Christopher does right now. The books progressively got better as I went along. As I said in my ranking video, this one is my favourite. I didn't tell you what it was because you should go watch that video, which was linked above and will be in the description down below for you to check out. So yeah, I'm going to read Murtagh. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. I like Murtagh as a character. I like the world in particular, Algasia and beyond, it seems, if the previous book was to be believed. So yeah, looking forward to reading that. And the third fiction book I'm going to be reading is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. You guys recommended this one to me. I made a video a while ago, you can find that here again in the description down below, where I was asking you guys, hey, I want to read more fantasy, give me fantasy recommendations, and I was like, I really like dragons, so could you include dragons in that? As a child, I was obsessed with dragons. I had that Dragonology book, bang over book as well. So I was like, hey, dragon please, and this was the one that was most recommended to me, The Rage of Dragons, and I believe it's a series as well. I believe this is the first book in a series. I'm not sure how many books are in the series, but you know, it's quite hefty looking. But this time last year, later than this time last year, I read Iron Widow, and I was like, it was quite a hefty book, but I got through it because I was thoroughly engaged with it. So I'm hoping that's what's going to happen with this, and there's going to be more books in the series coming out soon or already out. I hope. I didn't research that. I really should have. But you know, I want to give the first one a shot. You guys recommended this to me, so I am looking forward to that. Ooh, that's a good thumbnail. Thumbnail process exposed. But yeah, looking forward to it. As you can see, very fantasy heavy October. I guess that kind of goes with the spooky season. Spooky season, horror, fantasy, ghouls, dragons, that kind of... Oh, I'm cooking something there, ghouls and dragons. But those are the books I am planning to read in October. Knowing me, I'll probably throw another one in. Like in September, I also read / am reading Black Marxism, which wasn't on my TBR, but I decided to read it. I also read an Ilan Pape book as well, additionally in September. So, you know, that's me. I read fast, I read in my spare time, and I'm part-time employed, so I've got more time to read, I guess. But let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books I'm going to be reading, what you think of them. If you haven't, let me know if you're going to. And also, what are you going to be reading in October? I like making these TBR videos because I like seeing what you guys are making an attempt to read, great recovery there, to read, although I'm losing it, to read in the coming month. And yeah, it's just, I love engaging with you guys in the comments down below, so please, you know, let me know what you're going to be reading in October. And as I said in the beginning, I'm going to put the links to all of these books, if available, from bookshop.org in the description down below for you to pick them up. If they're not there, I'm going to put the ISBN for you guys to go off and find the books. And as always, like, subscribe, share the video with a friend or family member. And hey, I hope you read a great book today, especially if it's about dragons.